Hello everyone and welcome back. In the last lesson we have completed our smart contract, and in this lesson we are going to deploy our smart contract and test it. So first of all, as you can see, I'm in my move.toml file. So here we have our develop project, so this out comes from the output. It's not important. It's being automatically created for us when we actually compile the contract. We have our, normally you would have your sources and move.toml, and I'm inside this move.toml file. And as you can see, I have this address under the vault. So this is the address that I'm using for my test account on Well-Done Wallet. So it's going to deploy this smart contract as an asset under this address. Let me go back to Well-Done Studio, and I will select the vault from Aptos folder, and then I will say compile. And it's going to compile the code for me. And as you can see, we have our vault under the address that we have defined here. Now that we have compiled our contract, I'm going to deploy it. So when I say deploy, we are going to deploy it on the testnet. So if you have selected testnet on your Well-Done wallet, then it's going to be deployed on testnet. If you have selected devnet, then it's going to be deployed on the devnet. Actually have this vault under this address that we have defined here. And also make sure that this is the address that you are currently using in your Well-Done wallet. Now I'm going to say deploy, and I will say send and put in my password. And as you can see, it has been executed successfully. And if you want to learn more about this transaction, you can also go and check this transaction data in detail. Now I'm going to say close. Now, if you look at here, we have our module and we have our resources that has been deployed for us on this address. And as you can see, we have vault signer capability. We use this a lot in the contract, so it's nice to see it in here. It just feels familiar, And we have this account. Now, let's test our first function, which is get balance. And we are going to paste the admin account because we are making use of get balance with this admin account when we try to actually get the vault. And let me open up this code here so we can check. As you can see, we have the admin address and we are using the admin address to get the vault. I'm going to say get balance and we are going to have this 0. Now, I'm going to say deposit tokens, and I'm going to deposit 100 tokens here. It's not actually 100 tokens. Since we do not have decimals on Aptos, when we say 1 Aptos coin, we mean 10 to the power of 6. So if I say 100, then it will be like 0.000100. So it's a really, really small amount. But let's say 100 for this example. I'm going to deposit tokens and I'm going to approve this transaction. And you will see that we will only need to actually allow these transactions when we pay gas fee. So in the execute functions, but in the view functions, we do not have this confirmation. Completed our transaction, we have this transaction hash. Let us check this transaction. And as you can see, it's success. And this is the amount that has been associated with this transaction. And we have the signature and so on. Now, if you check the parameter 100 tokens, but if we check here, as you can see, we have this very, very small number. Now, the reason for that is Aptos coin means this 10 to the power of 8. So since we do not have decimals, instead of saying 0.5 Aptos coin, we use these really big numbers. So if we have 10 to the power of 8 APT, then it means that we have 1 Aptos coin. And since we set 100 here as the parameter, we have 5 zeros after the dot. So again, we actually transferred a very small amount, but we should be able to see on the balance sheet. Now, let's say get balance again, and we are going to again paste the address. We will get balance, and now we have 100. Now I want to give an allocation. I have an address here, and let me choose allocate tokens. And if you look at the allocate tokens function, the first parameter is the address and the second is amount. So I want to give allocation to this address. I'm going to give 20. Let's say allocate tokens, send transaction, put in the password, and we have our transaction. Let's hope this was successful. And let's close this. And we are going to say get allocation. And when we say get allocation, the first one is the admin address and the second one is the address of the allocation. And the admin is here, and also you can get the admin address from here. I will say get allocation. Now we have 20. Next thing that we are going to do is actually I want to see the vault address. I will put in the admin address and it will give me the vault address. And as you can see, it's a different address than our admin's address. So I'm going to save this because we are going to need this in our checks. I will withdraw tokens as the admin. So I will say withdraw tokens and I want to withdraw, let's say 50. So since we have allocated 20 and we have 100 in total, we should be able to withdraw 50. I will say withdraw tokens. I will send the transaction. I will put in my password. And let's check our transaction. It looks successful. Let's hope it is. And we are going to check get balance. And let me put the admin address. And actually, let's stay in here. I will say get balance. Now we have 50. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change my account on Well Done. And as you can see, I've been working with this Zeus account. But now I want to change this. I'm going to say Aptos. And I will go for the Poseidon. And now I need to reconnect here. And I will say connect to Well Done. Now that we have lost our contract, but do not worry. So I'm going to get the admin address from the previous one, which was Zeus, and then I'm going to paste it in here. We are going to say add address. And as you can see, we have our functions still in this address. So we can continue using the admin's address because our vault is associated with the admin address. And that's why we were finding the vault getting the admin's address. Let's say get allocations. I will paste the admin address. Admin's address is here again, and I will put the other address that has the allocation, which is Poseidon. I will say get allocation. We have 20. Next, I will go and say claim tokens, and it's waiting for a parameter. But if we check our claim tokens, the parameter is going to be the admin address because it knows that I'm the one who is actually getting these tokens because I'm the signer. And we are going to get the full amount, so it needs admin address to find the vault that's associated with it. This time, let me get the admin address from here, and I will say claim tokens, and hopefully it works and concludes our smart contract. Now, let's check our transaction. It says success. So let us go and check, let's say get allocation. This is the admin address, and this is the one that had the allocation. Now it's 20. If we get the balance, and if we put the admin address, and now it's 30 because we withdrew our allocation. This was our test, and you can test, give different address, different allocations, and you can play a little more. You can check what happens when you try to actually withdraw tokens that you can in this contract. Go there and play with it. It's very beneficial to actually test the contract, look at the transactions and the gas fee. So all this data is very helpful for you to get used to this smart contract development on Aptos. And finally, do not forget that if you change account, then you are going to lose this screen. But if you put the address that you had deployed the smart contract with, then it's going to bring back the resources and also our contract with it. Thank you very much for listening to me on this whole journey. while creating the whole smart contract, and you also stayed through the test. So I'm very grateful for that, and hopefully I will see you on the next section.